Good morning, everyone. This is Recie Myers coming to you live on this Thursday morning. Can you believe the week is just seeming to fly by? It's just me this morning. Roland he said, babe, I'm tired. You know, it's when you have insomnia and you can't sleep and you twist and you turn, you're trying to go to sleep. He suffers with that. Anyway, so he's not going to join me this morning. I was hoping that he would. But, nonetheless, I do have something for you this morning. Good morning, Sipo. Good morning to you. Good morning, Bill. Good. I'm glad that you can join me this morning. Yes, it's still a little bit on the cold side, but it's supposed to warm up a little today, and hopefully some of the snow will melt away before the weekend. Just think, 1 week, all the snow, and hopefully by Saturday there'll be no evidence of the snow. Nonetheless, we go on. Good morning, Sipo. So, I have this fascination about the mind, and how it is so powerful. And as I've been listening to different people, reading different books, the scientists, yes, science is supposed to complement theology, religion, because, without religion, you can't have really science. That's my thinking, because religion or theology, that's with God, that's the source of everything, because we can't do anything without God. And so as I've been reading, a lot of it seems to just center around what we can do, just what we can do. There's not any room to really include God. So that's where my mind is. And so I was reading a book about Earl Nightingale. He was the mentor of Jim Rohn, and Jim Rohn was a mentor to so many other people, Tony Robbins. And so I was listening to him, and he was talking about a lot of the problems that we humans have is because of our minds. We tend to worry a lot about things that don't matter. We worry about the wrong things. And, what the Bible talks about, we don't need to worry. We don't have to have anxiety and all that. In fact, I had written down a text. I think it was Romans. Tomorrow will take care of itself. So we don't need to be worrying about all that extra stuff. I think it was Philippians 4:6 and 7 says, "Be anxious for nothing, but in everything with prayer and supplication, and with the renewing of our minds." God is going to take care of us, but at the same time, we need to know what we can do. What things can we do, and yes, God can help us when we don't know certain things, but when we have the power to know things about ourselves, why not explore those things? So, according to Earl, he says that 40% of the things we worry about, this is human, the average human, 40% of the things that humans worry about will never happen. That's a lot of time of your life. 30% of our time is spent worrying about things in the past, Then 12% of our time is spent worrying about our health. 10% of our time is spent worrying about petty miscellaneous things. And then 8% of our time is spent worried about real legitimate worries. Okay, so most of our time is spent on things that we worry about things that really don't matter. He says of the real legitimate things that we worry about, there are two kinds. The kind that we can solve on our own, that we can do something about, and then there's some things that we have no control over. So the part that we can control, well, as far as worrying, there's some legitimate. But the thing is, when you look at the whole picture, he says 92% of our time in our lives is spent worrying about stuff that really does not matter. And that time could be put to use, to better use, learning about our mind and the power that we have in our minds. Okay? He says the average person spends 6,000 hours of their lives each year awake. and taking out the sleep time, we have 6,000 hours. And of that 6,000 hours of free time, 2,000 hours of that time is spent on your job, working. So that means we're left with 4,000 hours. That's a lot of time, a lot of free time. What if we took 1 hour a day, just 1 hour a day, doing some exercises that will strengthen our mind? The mind is just like a muscle. If you are exercising, you want stronger legs, there's certain exercises you do to develop the muscles in your leg, any part of your body. And so the mind is also like that. It's like a muscle. There's things that we can do. And this is something that I'm going to do. Just 1 hour a day. Just think, because the average human being just uses between 5 and 10% of your brain power. That's what they say. That's a fact. But what if we can increase that to like 20%? And how did he say to do that? He says, if you spend 5 hours a week, that means like 1 hour per day, he says use a piece of paper, but I say put it in a notebook. That way it's all there in one place. But on a blank sheet of paper every day for 1 hour, just sit down and write down the things that are related to your job, things that you can do. These are ideas that can increase your value. He says, keep in mind, most of the ideas that you write down will not be good. But the thing is to write them down, and sooner or later you're going to hit an idea. And see, by doing this every day, then the ideas come easier to you. And then you can follow through on one of those good ideas, and it can change your life. He says, everything that you have now is based on just using that 5%. But if you can increase it to 20%, just imagine what jewels and nuggets you have. What would your life be like if you can actually do that? 3, he says, successful people are not people without problems. Successful people are people who learn to solve their problems. Then he says, number 4, because let me back up. There are 5 things he says that you can do, all right, to increase your brain power. And let's see, I never thought about taking real time out to exercise the mind like some of this stuff is like, okay, well, hey, it all makes sense, right? Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay. Good morning, Jay. I don't even think I said good morning to you. Good morning, Wayne. Good morning to you. I'm glad that you can join me this morning. I wish Roland were here, but hopefully he'll be here with me tomorrow. So let me back up. He says, number 1, if we spend 5 hours per week, that means 1 hour per day for 5 days, just writing down on a blank sheet of paper, put your goal at the top, because some of us, we have more than one goal, but put whatever that goal is, and whatever job it is that you're doing, or write down ideas that come to you. He says sometimes getting 1 is difficult, but the goal is to try to get at least 20 ideas relating to that goal, or to the job that you're doing, or something that you can do to improve whatever job that you're working in. Whether it's to move aside from that job, maybe start your own. So write those things down. Try to have at least 20 every day, and try not to repeat. 2, he says everything that we have now, right now, is based on using 5% of our brain power. But you find that just like the brain is a muscle, exercising it, doing it every day, more ideas will come to you the more you use your brain. Okay, so, and the goal is to try to get 20 each day. That was number 2, using 5% of your brain just now based on what you have. 3, successful people are not people without problems. They are people who learn to solve their problems. 4, needless worry. We need to, spend more of our time doing productive things rather than on needless worry. Again, he said like 92% of our time is spent on worrying about stuff. You can sit down and just be thinking about something, you're off in space, but you're thinking, but you're worrying about stuff. And if there are things that you can't do anything about, don't focus on that. Only 2% he said 8% of our time is spent on real worries. But of those real legitimate worries or concerns, one of those things is things that you can do something about, and the other, is beyond your control. So that's what he said. Number 5, anything that can take you towards your goal, it comes from using your mind. And we need to develop that muscle. Some of us go through our whole lives and never stop to think, hey, how much potential we have within ourselves if we actually tapped into it. 5%, 10% of your mind, 20%, I just find it fascinating. So to do something or to get good at something, it takes practice. So just doing that for 1 hour per day, and with the 4,000 hours that we have to our disposal per year, what can we do with that? So and another thing too, I find that when we focus on those things, we are not here on this planet by ourselves. We have the Supreme Being who is going to guide us. And I do know that, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but you fall asleep, and in your sleep, an idea might come to you, and it's like, hey, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that when I get up. And you wake up, and it's like, I thought of some, oh man, what was it? And I can't remember. The thing is to do, and I had learned this some time ago, and I used to do it for a time, but I got away from that practice. Sleep with a notebook or something beside you, or somewhere close on the nightstand, or so that at night, or when you're in that that sleep, is between sleep and awake, when those ideas start flowing to you, to get up and write it down, because the human mind, we will forget. Once we become conscious, it's like, what was that? So that's what I just have for you this morning that I wanted to share. And I'm going to do that. Take at least 1 hour in the day to just focus on whatever that goal is that you're trying to achieve. And, they said what you think about, you bring about. When you focus on one thing, but you don't just focus, you take action steps towards that. And that's how you achieve the goals that you have set for yourself. All right, let's see. I'm seeing several others who came on. Sorry, I forgot to say hello. Good morning, Rolita. Good morning, Rolita. Glad that you can join me. Good morning, Tiffany. Good morning, Tiffany. It's been a while. And do me a favor, if anything I've shared resonates with you, give me a heart or like, and share this out. And be sure to tell me where you're tuning in from. And glad that you can join me this morning. Good morning, Duria. Good morning to you. Needless worry. Yes. Needless worry. What did you say about that? Spend most of our time on things that you can do something about, on developing your ideas, because we'll be surprised of what we can accomplish just exercising our minds 1 hour per day. Good morning, Doris. Glad that you can join me this morning. Good morning, George. And Doria says, sometimes if you don't have a notebook near the bed, grab your phone and type it in the notes. See, the younger generation, they think quickly with the phone, because it's a smartphone and they can do all these things. I'm still in the age of notebooks. Anyway, so that's what I have for you this morning. Roland and I usually come to you every day, Monday through Friday, to share a nugget or two that can help you in your life, in your daily life, or in your business. And I am just on this, personal development, developing you. And so that's what I have for you this morning. Thank you. Okay, I need to get my eyes checked. Good quote. What you think about, you bring about. And so tomorrow is Friday. Hopefully Roland will join us tomorrow, and she'll have something extra special for you. And so you'll have to tune in. We come to you every morning, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. So make today purposeful, make it productive, do something for you, do something for someone else. Have a great on purpose day. Bye now.